In this video, I want to go through and talk about what are probably my favorite types of cosmetics in Destiny, but something that I think is criminally overlooked by Bungie. And that is going to be what they call exotic augments. Now, if I just say that, does anyone know what the hell I'm talking about? Because I can tell you, most people probably don't. Exotic augments are these pieces of legendary gear that you have that, they're like universal ornaments that you can put on your character, and, they're just cool looking armor pieces. But when you mix them with specific exotics, they get additional aesthetic effects. So like, for instance, this helmet's based off of the Omnioculus. You can, I showed it to you. But if I equipped the Omnioculus, the helmet now gets eyeballs that go around and blink and stuff. I believe there are 6 per class, and they are pretty freaking cool, and I think they are entirely underutilized by Bungie. Now, before we get started, I do want to say that Bungie did send me silver. A couple times a year, they will send some creators silver, and they'll say, we want you to make some type of video, but we're not going to tell you what it is. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to actually kind of flip it on its head and do sort of a criticism video on these items that are criminally underrated, and I actually don't think they should be in Eververse at all. These augments are not very popular. If we go to analytics, these are the Warlock ones, which are by far the least popular. But you can see, not many people. Out of all Warlock universal ornaments, the bottom 4 are some of these augments. For Hunters, kind of a similar story. Bottom 2 are some of these augments. And then you have a couple more. So there are, sorry, I'm trying to find another one. Some of them are a little bit more popular, but generally they tend to be the least popular augments across the classes. The Titan ones are even a little bit more popular, but you can see a couple of them here down at the bottom, for instance. So not super popular. Not a lot of people have these, and they're very cool. And it's pretty obvious that a lot of work goes into some of them. So for me, my favorite Titan one is going to be the Curse of the Falling Star. There's a helmet and a mark that get amplified by it. So if you have the mark, it gains these extra like aesthetics here, like the lightning. If I take off the Curse, it doesn't have those. Very cool. And then the helmet just gets like pulsing as well. Just super, super awesome. No one uses it. When's the last time you've ever seen anyone use this mark or this helmet? You know what I mean? And the Warlock has a couple of very cool ones as well that I can go through and kind of show off while I'm talking. But I think, we're kind of at this point where a lot of the end game cosmetics are starting to not really matter quite as much. And I'm specifically talking about like titles. I think like titles are kind of like the epitome of like end game cosmetics. When you put on Nezrax, and this chest piece gets kind of like these wavy boys, kind of cool. If I put on Starfire, this one's actually my favorite on Warlock. These boots are the Starfire boots, pretty normal. But if I put on the Starfire, they completely transform. They get these awesome markings all around them. Just freaking awesome, man. Have you ever seen anyone using these boots ever? No one uses those. So we're at this point where a lot of cosmetics are Eververse, unfortunately. A lot of the coolest cosmetics are day 1 raid emblems, but that's fine. That takes care of the emblems category. Ships and sparrows, there's some end game versions of those, but generally they're not too hard to get. But I think what would be really awesome is if Bungie took this opportunity and kind of used these exotic augments to fill the empty cosmetic holes in endgame content. So we have a lot of exotics that are themed after endgame activities or similarly. So imagine, let's take master raids for instance. Master raids are useless. You use them to get your collection score up by getting the adept weapons, but most of the adept weapons aren't even worth using anyways. Or they're not really that big of a deal. And I think you get like a ship if you do all of the challenges, or maybe it's a sparrow, something, and use it to get the title. But there's no reason to do a master raid more than 1 complete time and once for every challenge, right? So what if master raids had a 1 in 50 chance to drop a correspondingly themed exotic augment. So for instance, let's take the news raid, Courtesan. There's a couple hive-themed exotics in the game right now. You can pick pretty much any of them, but let's just say like necrotic grips, right? What if I had a 1 in 50 chance when I beat Courtesan on Master to get a necrotic grips like boot augment that was kind of kept that hive theme. I could put them on and then boom, I have this super unique, super flashy in-game cosmetic that I can use to flex a little bit, you know? And it's a little bit more, like, no one looks at your sparrow. No one looks at your ship. Emblems are pretty noticeable, but the first thing, at least that I do, the first thing that I see is a person's or a character's appearance. And so if I'm in the tower and I see someone with that necrotic grip augment, like, oh shit, that's cool, you know, like that sort of thing. And all the classes have these types of exotics. For Titan, you have like the Dune Marcher ornament that looks kind of hivey. You have the brand new what are they called, the eyeball boots, the Abeyant Leaps. You could very easily make like a Crota themed exotic augment for that. You know what I mean? So I think this would be a really cool thing that Bungie could do, and just get a couple more eyes on these sorts of things. And you could do it all over the place. Trials. There's so many trials. Like, you know how many gold things we have? Like, this is probably the most Trials of Osiris looking thing I've ever seen in my entire life, the Cenotaph. They could very easily throw a Cenotaph augment into Trials as like a flawless reward, or just a random drop when you win. You know, you have a 1 in 500 chance of getting it, or whatever. I'm throwing out these numbers. It doesn't really matter. And for, you know, Iron Banner, there's a huge problem with Iron Banner being rewarding right now. With, I mean, almost no reason to play Iron Banner for most people. And you could very easily throw Cabal-themed exotics. Shards of Galanor already have a Cabal ornament, I believe. Mask of Bakris already has a Cabal-themed ornament. Throw exotic augments for those. And not only seasons, but also like seasonal events. Festival of the Lost. We have so many spider-themed exotics or creepy exotics in the game. You know, there's the Hunter helmet that there's no way I'm going to pronounce, the one with all the eyes. You have Omni Oculus. You have the Controverse Hold ornaments that has all the hands. Once again, the Abeyant Leaps are kind of creepy looking as well. Like, you have so many opportunities where you could go and make augments for these exotics. So like, you could have a Pyrogale exotic augment for Root of Nightmare that drops from, you know, the third boss because it looks similar. Just something. I know this will never happen, but these cosmetics are just so underutilized. It's just a shame, because I think they are genuinely some of the coolest cosmetic offerings and the most unique cosmetic offerings in the entire game, and I would just love to see more of them. So let me know what you all think down below. Do you ever use exotic augments? Did you even know they existed? I'm interested to hear your thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and I'll see you in the next one.